We accord so much honor and respect for our registrar. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. All right, we're about to start so that we can leave here in good time. All right, ladies and gentlemen, can you turn to the agenda page 10 of our program, so that we can commence today's event. Thank you so much for coming. We'll be anchoring this program together with my friend and my colleague, Pharmacists N.A.E, and Barrister Okosu, and together we'll be sailing this ship to see that we leave here in good time and we have a wonderful time. So we'll commence with the introduction of guests, which will be done by my colleague, Pharmacist N.A.
Thank you very much.
So we will start by introduction to the head table. The first on the list. Can we tune down the music, please? Thank you. Can you tune down the music? Thank you. Thank you very much. So first on the list is the Honorable Minister of Health, Dr. Osagie Ehanire, whose representative is on the way. When the representative arrives, we will introduce them appropriately. Then please welcome to the head table the Chairman Senate Committee on Health, no other person but the one people regard to as the Iroko, Senator Dr. Ibrahim Oloriegbe. Please put your hands together. Thank you.
Next, want to welcome to the high table the chairman of the Pharmacists Council of Nigeria Governing Council, in the person of Professor Ahmed Mora, MNI. Join me to welcome to the head table the Director General of NAFDAC, Professor Mojisola Adeyeye. Also to the head table, the President, Pharmaceutical Society of Nigeria, PSN, Professor Cyril Osifo, FPSN. Also join me to welcome to the head table Mrs. Rodio Diallo, the Family Planning Technical Support Africa Region at the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation. Also to the head table, the Managing Director, Society for Family Health, Dr. Omokodo Idoho. and the one that we have gathered to celebrate, the Registrar, Dr. N.A.E. Mohammed, FPSN. You're welcome, sir. I will do a few recognitions at this point. We have in the room the PSN National Secretary, Pharmacist Benga Falabi, FPSN. You're welcome, sir. Also in the room is the National Chairman, the National Association of Industrial Pharmacists, Pharmacist Ken N.A.E. The National Chairman, Association of Community Pharmacists of Nigeria, Pharmacist Wale Oladigbolu. Also in the room is the National Vice Chairman, ACPN, Pharmacist Bridget Otote. Also join me to welcome to this occasion the Program Director, PSN Foundation, and former Vice President North, PSN Vice President North, Pharmacist Munir Elelu, FPSN. Also in the room is retired Brigadier General Ibrahim Babangida, FPSN. Also in the room is Professor Lere Bale, CEO, Netherlands Business School. You're welcome, sir. We also have with us the Registrar/CEO, Medical Rehabilitation Therapist Board of Nigeria, Dr. Mrs. Olufunke Akanle. You're welcome, ma'am. We'll do more recognitions as we make progress in the program. Thank you very much. So we'll take, at this juncture, we'll take the national anthem and then proceed. The national anthem, please. May we all rise, please. Thank you. Thank you very much. Please take your seats. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, please join me to welcome the Registrar of Pharmacists Council of Nigeria, Dr. N.A.E. Mohammed, for his welcome address. Sir.
the Honorable Minister of Health, sorry please, this is the Honorable Minister's speech. Yes, I will look for it now. Please, I'm sorry for the lapses. They gave me the speech of the Honorable Minister, and that shows a prophetic action, and I'm therefore pleading that the distinguished senator should support me, and I'm sure my chairman will support that when the new government come into place, I will be addressing you as the Honorable Minister of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. I would like to stand on the existing protocols because of time. It is my pleasure to welcome our distinguished guests to this memorable occasion of the presentation of my scorecard. The scorecard is an account of my stewardship as Registrar, Pharmacists Council of Nigeria from June 2014 to June 2022. It is a documentation of activities undertaken and milestones achieved during my 2 terms in office. Following my appointment as the Registrar of PCN in June 12, 2014, I came up with a vision for my administration to work with council members, stakeholders, and staff of PCN and put in place a pharmacy practice that is generational in thought, actions, and deeds, and ultimately promote the tenets of the profession to meet the needs of the patient. I also set up a mission to create societal change agents out of career professionals through self-transformation as intellectual practitioners with good moral courage. In order to drive the mission and vision, I came up with a 4-point agenda. 1, reposition of the registry for effective service delivery. 2, institutionalization of good pharmacy practice in Nigeria. Transformation of career professionals into intellectual practitioners. And finally, new partnership for progress initiative. On my assumption to office, I was much aware that the reposition of the registry for effective regulation, in addition to ensuring effective implementation of council policies, was an enormous task. However, I was confident that my team and I would deliver, and we have delivered. The management and staff of PCN made my assignment less arduous by cooperating and believing that I was headed somewhere that would greatly benefit the profession. The registry team was therefore determined to confront all limitations and challenges in order to achieve the goal of raising the bar and attaining global standards. The Governing Council also aspired to have a profession and practice which could be outstanding and possibly the best in West Africa region, as well as being recognized globally. This noble goal required a total transformation of the pharmaceutical sector through institutionalization of global best practices. The vehicle to reach the set destination was definitely transparency and accountability, and this became our motto in PCN. Furthermore, in order to achieve the 4-point agenda, a re-evaluation of the administrative processes, machineries on ground, and skills and capabilities of the personnel was undertaken through a management retreat tagged New Mindset for the New Game to identify the strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats to the entire system. This strategic planning and management technique greatly engineering the management to chart a course for navigation to our destination and, in essence, the future. I am delighted, therefore, to inform this august audience that the PCN has indeed come a long way since the journey commenced. We came, saw, and conquered during this administration, having worked assiduously for 8 years to transform the pharmaceutical landscape in Nigeria. Indeed, the success is attributable to the Federal Ministry of Health and all stakeholders in the pharmaceutical sector who cooperated and supported PCN in all the way. I do acknowledge that there is still much to do for the practice, but I am assured that my successor will not rest on his hours, nor relent in the quest to make pharmacy essential of all professions. Our achievement so far was recently endorsed by the recent attainment of the ISO 9001-2015 by the PCN in 2022. I wish to conclude by expressing my profound gratitude to the Almighty God who has strengthened me throughout my tenure of office, the Honorable Minister of Health and his team at the Federal Ministry of Health, state governments and DPSs, the chairman and governing councils of Pharmacy Council of Nigeria, immediate past and present, the National Assembly, most especially the Chairman Senate Committee on Health and the Chairman House Committee on Health Services, the Pharmaceutical Society of Nigeria, and its various technical groups, sister agencies, NAFDAC, pharmacists, and sub-cadre of the profession, and all stakeholders, too numerous to mention, and the management and staff of council. And in addition, and finally, my beloved family, who never relented in their prayers and support for me during the entire period. Thank you all. Long live pharmacy profession, long live PCN, and long live the Federal Republic of Nigeria. Thank you.
Please, another round of applause for the registrar. Before we take the next item, I'll do a few recognitions. Join me to welcome to this event one of the past presidents of the Pharmaceutical Society of Nigeria, Pharmacists, N.A.E, FPSN. The former deputy president of PSN, Pharmacist Abba Master, FPSN. Also at this occasion is the executive secretary, PMG man, Frank Monume. You're welcome, sir. We also have the country representative, Pharm Access Foundation, Ms. Njide Ndeli. You're welcome, ma'am.
Thank you very much. What was not part of the registrar's address was that before his coming as the registrar of the Pharmacists Council of Nigeria, there were, should I say, some misgivings and misunderstanding about how the profession should be run in Nigeria. So much so that before his coming, there were issues here and there. But you see, his coming to Pharmacists Council of Nigeria as the registrar stabilized the system. He formed a partnership with the DG of NAFDAC, and they became a principality to reckon with, to be reckoned with. Together, they were unbroken. And just like in his speech, you did hear that, you know, the PCN became ISO certified. But what you did not hear was that PCN and NAFDAC obtained maturity level 3 during the global benchmarking. This was no mean feat. It was the dexterity, the ruggedity, the drive of these two principalities. Please put your hands together for the registrar, Pharmacists Council of Nigeria, and his partner in crime, the DG of NAFDAC. Now, to those people, there are certain people, if we live here like this without recognizing them, we may have query tomorrow when we return back to the office. So please join me welcome or recognize the presence of the director, PROS, who incidentally is the man the cap fits, the incoming registrar of Pharmacists Council of Nigeria, no other person than the Alhaji himself. Oh, he stepped out. And we can clap in his absence. Pharmacist Mohammed Babasheo. And also join me recognize the presence of pharmacist Johanna, who is here, the director, registration and licensing. You better clap so that you can have your license if you are a pharmacist. Also join me recognize the presence of our mama. We call her our mama. No other person than the woman we love. Pharmacist Atonia Aruya. Retired, but not tired. You're welcome, man. Also, join me recognize the presence of the director, PCD, no other person than pharmacist Olalere. We have also here, all the way from the people that matter, those that shake pharmacy profession in Nigeria, the Lagos people. No other person than the director, Lagos Zonal Office. Please join me, put your hands together for pharmacist Mrs. Okafo. You're welcome, ma. And also our director from the Southwest, we call her Mama Ibadan. No other person than Mrs. Husseini, pharmacist Mrs. Husseini. You're welcome, ma. And also let's recognize the presence of the head of E&T, no other person than pharmacist Idoko. We cite you, sir. The director of human resource is here. He's taking notes. Please join me welcome our director, no other person than Mr. Ben Aja. You're welcome, sir. Also, our eastern people, the deputy director in charge of our southeast zone, no other person than pharmacist Ohiri. You're welcome, ma. Yes, there's a new retiree in town, no other person than our beloved pharmacist Yusuf. You're welcome, sir. It's so good to see you. Yeah, someone took the risk to come all the way from Kaduna yesterday. We're asking, how did you come? Did you fly? How did you come? But he came all the same. Please put your hands together, than the one we love, all the way from Kaduna State, our North West director, zonal director, JV. Please put your hands together for him. Yes, there's so many persons to be recognized. All the staff of PCN, you are all recognized. We welcome you to this very occasion, and it is our desire that at the end of today, we'll be able to put to action by celebrating the man who has become not just a myth, but a reality. He has actually done so much that I'm sure himself, when he assumed office, he didn't know that he was going to, achieve this, but he did it by the grace of the Almighty. Now I want to welcome someone who is known as a rock in this profession, and we are delighted to have him as the chairman of the council, no other person than the chairman of the Pharmacists Council of Nigeria, to deliver his remark. Please put your hands together for Professor Ahmed Tijani Mora. Please put your hands together for our chairman. Thank you.
Thank you very much for that introduction. I would have loved to observe, lay down protocol. But if you have the likes of Senator Dr. Ibrahim Oloriegbe, Chairman Senate Committee on Health, you cannot but mention him. Because it's not just a medical practitioner, member of the healthcare team, not just the fact that he's also the Senate Chairman Committee on Health, but he's a very, very pharmacy-friendly personality. And we're happy that he's here. Each time we invited him, he always attended. I remember the last time, 27th or so of October, he was with us, the Lagos Zonal Office, for the commissioning of that building. We thank you very much, distinguished Senator. And of course, our sister, the DG of NAFDAC, Professor Mujisela Adeyeye, and the President of the Pharmaceutical Society of Nigeria, our development partners. And permit me, since I have the mic, to mention 3 people that were my classmates, or mates in school. Hajia Wasila Giwa, please. She was my classmate in ABU, part 1, part 2, part 3. We call her Madame. She was married that time, so we were not disturbing her. So the bad boys said, no, leave Hajia alone, leave her alone. And then the one we did NYC together in Borno State, old Borno State, Alhaji A.R.M. Momodu. He was in Bama and I was in Potiskum. I still remember the number of his car, BDE. And then my younger brother, Brigadier General Ibrahim Babangida, Ibrahim Umar Babangida, N.A.E. He went to Maria College, but he didn't meet me there. He was in ABU, a pharmacy, he didn't meet me there. But then we were in the National Institute for Policy and Strategic Studies, and he was the Monitor General. So, so I welcome all of you here. Honestly speaking, this is a very joyous occasion for me, and I believe the entire members of the Governing Council of the Pharmacists Council of Nigeria. Again, it is an emotional one. For me, the almost 2 years I have been with Dr. Mohammed have been very wonderful period. Of course, I've known Dr. Mohammed for a very long time, but significantly from 2004 to 2007, when he was the Secretary of the Pharmaceutical Society of Nigeria, and I was the Registrar of the Pharmacists Council. We worked very well and amicably. I think Dr. Mohammed is a very lucky person, but he worked for it. In the now 30 years of the Pharmacists Council, there have been 3 substantive registrars, including himself, and 2 acting registrars. However, this is the first time that a registrar of the PCN, who was appointed through the examination and interview process, will be exiting and handing over to another one, equally appointed by the Governing Council through the examination and interview process. All the others were either from an acting person to a substantive one, or substantive one to an acting. But this is the first time. Today, Dr. Mohammed is presenting his scorecard, and why not? His modesty is displayed in the layout of the book by requesting other heads of department whom he had worked with to equally say a thing or two. One of the many things that Dr. Mohammed excelled as a registrar is his relationship with development partners. The capacity building programs initiated by these partners have been wonderful. Indeed, the development partners were to some extent deeply immersed in the implementation of the mandate of the registry. Today's program, which is with the full support of Society for Family Health and Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation, is one of such commendable collaborations for which the Council is very appreciative. Finally, I thank everyone that has come here to celebrate with us. Wish you all very safe trip back to your destination. Thank you all and God bless. Thank you.
Thank you so much, the Chairman, PCN Governing Council. Before we take the next item, I would like to make a few recognitions. At this occasion is the Group CEO, Pharm Access Foundation, Dr. Nicole Spiker. You're welcome, ma'am. Also join me to welcome Mr. Ochonu Gregory, Director PRD, Medical Laboratory Science Council of Nigeria. You're welcome, sir. Someone who has supported the PCM over the years is also here at this occasion, Hajia Diza Yusuf. You're welcome, ma. You're welcome, ma. I also want to recognize Professor Chioma Ezike, Professor of Pharmacology and Toxicology, University of Nigeria, Nsukka. You're welcome, ma. I also like to welcome the Chairman, Pharmaceutical Society of Nigeria, FCT Branch, Pharmacist Ifeanyi Kebudu. You're welcome, sir. The representative of the National Chairperson, ALPS, Pharmacist Buki Jolayemi. You're welcome, ma'am. We know that the ALPS are at their conference right now. Also at this occasion is the Project Director, Integrate E-Project, Pharmacist Emeka Okafor. You're welcome, sir. I also like to recognize the presence of Pharmacist Idris Pada, FPSN, former Deputy President North of the PSN. You're welcome, sir. We also have Pharmacist Ernest Okoli, FPSN, former Deputy President South, PSN. You're welcome, sir.
Thank you very much. I did omit to mention our host, and that is the Director, Abuja Zonal Office. No other person than Pharmacist Peter Ilya. Can you put your hands together for him? If he asks us to leave now, we'll go to Itu. You're welcome, sir. Okay, quickly, we'll be taking the address, the remark by the Country Director, Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation. Can you put your hands together? Mrs. Rodio Diallo.
Thank you. Good afternoon, everyone. I'm standing here on behalf of the Country Director, who's outside the country. Mr. Chair, Senate Committee of Health, distinguished guests, with your permission, I'm going to stand on existing protocol. Thank you for the invitation to this scorecard event with the presentation event by the outgoing Registrar of the Pharmacists Council of Nigeria. We at the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation, we are guided by the belief that all lives have equal value. We remain convinced of the power of partnerships in fighting poverty, disease, and inequity around the world. We always strive to work together with businesses, government, non-profit organization, with each partner playing a specific role in accelerating progress. In pursuit of this vision, the Foundation is committed to partnering with government to improve health and livelihood through strengthening regulations and policies that have direct impact on improving health outcomes. This is the reason we supported the Pharmacy Council of Nigeria through the Launch DSI project that was implemented by Management Science for Health back in 2016 to improve the quality and health services by improving the operations of the PPMVs. The evidence generated from the Launch DSI project led to a follow-on project called the Integrity, whose consortium members are hereby present. Under the leadership of Society for Family Health, we have Pharmacists, we have Pop Council, MSI, and PSN, and other partners. They all have been working together since 2017 with the Federal Ministry of Health to broaden its task shifting and task sharing policy by piloting a 3-tier accreditation system for the PPMVs and the hub and spoke supervision model as envisioned by PCN to strengthen regulation and improve quality of services, especially for the rural and hard-to-reach communities. I'm happy to say that over the past 4 years, considerable progress has been made in realization of this goal. Our support to PCN has helped to improve the contribution of the private health sector providers, especially community pharmacists and patent proprietary medicine vendor, PPMVs, in healthcare delivery in Nigeria, and more especially in the current implementing states of Kano, Nasarawa, Enugu, Gombe, Lagos, and Kaduna. It is hoped that this approach to support an improved regulatory framework led by PCN, combined with evidence generation, will trigger lasting policy change that will contribute to ensuring that Nigerians from the low quintile access increased contraceptive mix and quality PHC services. Our work with the Council indeed demonstrates the transformative power of collaboration, innovation, and creativity in pursuit of a shared vision of improving healthcare provision in Nigeria. The partnership with PCN has been very fruitful and rewarding, throwing valuable lessons and insights along the way. We congratulate the outgoing registrar on his meritorious 8 years services to the people of Nigeria. We affirm our commitment to working with the PCN and all like-minded entities in improving healthcare in the country. We congratulate the incoming registrar, the staff, and management of the council on today's event with the presentation of the scorecard put together to share activities undertaken and milestone reached during the leadership of the outgoing registrar and a comprehensive account of stewardship. Finally, we wish to appreciate the immense contribution of the Federal Ministry of Health, Pharmacists Council of Nigeria, the State Minister of Health that partner with us along the way, and our implementing partners who have continued to strive to ensure the achievement of quality healthcare services, especially for those most in need, and working to support PCN in their key health objectives. It is my sincere belief that today's event will usher in stronger collaboration at all levels, and that will truly transform healthcare services, especially within the private sector, community pharmacies, and PPMV. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, ma'am. Okay. I'm sorry, ma. I'm usually very gentle. I didn't recognize you were going on. It's okay. Thank you so much. Ladies and gentlemen, we also want to welcome the remark from the Managing Director, Society for Family Health, no other person than Dr. Omokudu Idogo. Put your hands together for...
The Chairman, Senate Committee on Health, and like I always say, my elder brother, the Chair of the PCN Governing Council, my senior and very distinguished outgoing registrar, our donors here represented, and my co-development partners, our very distinguished directors of NAFDAC, distinguished they say gentlemen and they know ladies, but gentlemen and ladies of the press, ladies and gentlemen. I want to start by congratulating the outgoing registrar for what has been a truly amazing 8 years, and to thank you for what has been a really amazing partnership with development partners. I think it's often mentioned in terms of your ability or what you've done in terms of engaging development partners, but I want to sort of put on record that it's a two-way traffic. It's your ability and your openness to ideas, to innovation, to driving change that has seen us where we are today. And I would say, please join me to celebrate to celebrate a truly distinguished game changer who thinks ahead and thinks of the future. For us, Society for Family Health has a mission to improve health outcomes by ensuring communities have access to affordable, quality, and gender-sensitive health services and commodity. We've been around since 1983, and we'll be 40 years next year as an organization supporting the government of Nigeria and the people of Nigeria in terms of improving the health outcomes and the quality of health services in the country. In these 40 years, we've had a long relationship with the Pharmacists Council of Nigeria. And so we do have a body of experience when we reflect on what is happening today and the quality of relationship we've had under the Integrate E project in the last couple of years and the scorecard that we are here to discuss this evening. So our long-standing relationship has been built on the common objective of ensuring health for all. In this common goal, we've worked on previous projects with the Pharmacy Council of Nigeria, but in this latest Integrate E project, which very gratefully to thank the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation as well as MSD for Mother for funding, and to also appreciate our consortium partners that are very well represented in the room here, Population Council and others. We've looked at how do we change the narrative such that the quality of care for Nigerians truly improves. And very much within that same space, that's when the Federal Ministry of Health sort of brought out its tax shifting and tax sharing policy. And I'm truly proud to say what the registrar and the wider council have done is actually taking that policy and ground it in the reality of the average Nigerian out there. And I think it's something that we should truly celebrate by appreciating ourselves this evening. Over the last 5 years, we've worked to look at how can we deepen the contribution of the private sector, which is often a component that's missed when we are talking about an integrated healthcare system for our country. The contribution of community pharmacists and patent proprietary medicine vendor. Some of the achievements over this year is, at this point in time, we now have a full comprehensive GIS maps of PPMVs and community pharmacies across 11 states. And work is ongoing to ensure that even this sort of goes across the existing states that are not yet covered. The registrar have talked very extensively of capacity within PCN that has strengthened in terms of its statutory responsibility that it continues to push forward. Lately, we've been working on looking at the quality of care side, focused on providing training to private providers. On that, supporting the PCN to provide training to private sector provider within the context of the tiered accreditation model. Of course, the satellite pharmacy model, as well as the hub and spoke, which has been talked about earlier. I want to sincerely thank the Ministry of Health, State Ministry of Health in our 11 implementing states, as well as the partners, Population Council, Pharmacists, very well represented here, Mary Stopes International, PPFN, Planned Parenthood Federation of Nigeria, other stakeholders who have supported the project to make these achievements possible. I want to end by congratulating the registrar and to say that I'm sure the future is even bigger and brighter, because I'm sure the skill, the experience, the sort of great game-changing innovation is not fully exhausted, and I'm sure that's something that will be available that as a country and even as a sector, the NGO side will continue to tap in the years to come. I want to use this opportunity to formally congratulate the incoming registrar and to extend our hands of fellowship and to say we stand ready, we stand committed to continue the good work that has already started, and we look forward to continue to write even better chapter of what is going to be a historic relationship with the Pharmacy Council of Nigeria. I thank you very much.
Thank you so much, sir. Please, another round of applause for SFH. They have been our #1 partner in this journey. Now, a few recognitions before we take the next item. We have in the room the chairman of ACPN FCT, Pharmacist Amadi Enejo. You're welcome, sir. Chairman, Association of Hospital and Administrative Pharmacists of Nigeria, FCT, branch chairman, Pharmacist Hafsat Mamman. We also have the former Director of Food and Drug Services, Pharmacist Moshood Lawal. You're welcome, sir. Also in the room is Pharmacist Inusa Bello, FPSN, the Chief Sales Officer, Entel Communications. Always good to see you, sir, at a pharmacy event. Now, there's been a slight adjustment to the program. So before we take the goodwill messages, we have moved up the item on the presentation of the scorecard. So before I call on Prof to do the presentation of the scorecard, we have a message from the Chairman, House of Representative Committee on Health Services, Dr. Yusuf Tanko Sununu. And I've been directed to read it, and I'll just go through it now. The chairman said he had planned to be at the event, but for another critical engagement that necessitated him to travel to Birnin Kebbi earlier today, and that the chairman commends and congratulates the outgoing registrar for the remarkable achievements recorded during his tenure, and wishes Dr. N.A.E. Mohammed greater successes in future endeavor. He also wishes the incoming registrar a very successful tenure. Thank you. Please, a round of applause for the chairman. So back to our program. We'll take the next item, the presentation of the scorecard, by no other person than Professor L.B. himself. Professor Larry Vale, please put your hands together.
Let me key, good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Let me key into the existing protocol. The lengthen had been such a very high lengthen. Some of you may not be able to see me because of my height, but just cope. At least you can listen to my voice. All right. Allow me to, the chairman of PCN was recognizing ABU graduates, and he didn't remember I went to ABU. So I met you. Yeah, because I look like a YPG, that's why you didn't believe I met you. All right. I'll be talking on scoreboard. I'm reviewing the scoreboard of over 110 pages, and I will do some solid key pam. So we are discussing the registrar. Will be out of that seat in a matter of few days. The scoreboard, which covers 2014 to 2022, about 8 years, is more like a book review. It's a scoreboard that is being launched, but it's also an occasion to celebrate an illustrious tenure of a transformative leader. A distinguished Dr. N.A.E. Elijah Mohammed, a double prophet, the Registrar and Chief Executive Officer. And what is a scoreboard? It's a chronicle of achievement of a CEO at the end of his or her tenure, an assessment of a person's performance based on specific success parameters, so as to determine the quality of service rendered. Why scoreboard? Is to showcase the accomplishment of an officer, to provide an easy reference for a new officer taking over, to continue where the outgoing officer stopped, to present to the world an essence of the organization and what it's doing. And the why saying is also applicable here. If you can't measure it, you can't improve it. And for those of us in manpower development, we know that you cannot blame them if you do not train them. We also know that it is what gets measured that gets done. So Somebody like me, I was brought up in an environment where we do a weekly review of all the key officers who work with me. Every week we must meet. If we cannot meet physically, we meet on Zoom. So currently I meet the key direct reports to me twice in a week, Mondays and Thursdays. So it's critical for us to know that because what gets measured gets done, and so what gets measured and fed back gets done well, and what gets rewarded gets repeated. I think it shows the summary of the secret behind the success of the double prophet, the registrar. Dr. N.A.E. Mohammed is the outgoing substantive registrar and CEO of the Pharmacists Council of Nigeria. He was in charge for 8 years, 2014 to date, without blemish. He had been described by different people in different ways. And you must have seen the kind of adjectives used for him today by different speakers. But I combined some of the comments that have been made by different people. Some said he's an informed leader, a diplomatic technocrat, extraordinary, a transformer with a passion for excellence, a diplomat, a unifier, a bridge builder. He turned PCN into a very productive and successful team. It's a man of integrity, humility, God-fearing, and most accommodating. And some refer to him as a transformative leader. Now about the publication. It's more of a compilation of records of achievement, milestones in the Pharmacists Council of Nigeria under his leadership. He presented various perspectives of scorecards from different departments of the Pharmacists Council of Nigeria. It has 191 pages with 32 sections. It has well illustrated pages, charts, and tables. The language is clear, straightforward, without any ambiguity. The facts were presented scientifically through well-articulated, well-verifiable data. Some of the raw data, please don't touch it, please. Some of the raw data should have been supported with graphs to show the exponential growth in achievement. That's the only gap that I saw. For the next edition, I believe that it will show the graphs. The overview highlighted the agenda of repositioning and transforming the PCN. He assumed duty on June 12, 2014. Maybe that was why the date was eventually changed to a public holiday. I wouldn't know. When he was speaking, he spoke about 4-point agenda, and he has repeated 4-point agenda in most of the publications. But when I read the book, I realized that it was actually a 5-point agenda. Number 1, the positioning of the registry for effective service delivery. Number 2, institutionalization of good pharmacy practice in Nigeria. Number 3, transformation of career professionals into intellectual practitioners. Number 4, new partnership for a progressive initiative. And number 5, active engagement of all major stakeholders. He will look at that as something like the icing of the cake. But in reality, it's the major fulcrum. It's a major engagement of, it's productive engagement of major stakeholders brought in the donor agencies, the supportive agencies, the people within and outside the Pharmacists Council that made its tenure to be unusually extraordinary. And so, and people normally say, and what makes a big difference between the ordinary and the extraordinary is the word extra. So that extra is the active engagement of all major stakeholders, which he did effectively. Not just the pharmacists, but also the patent medicine dealers, the pharmacy technicians, as well as the various developmental agencies. He did something that was actually very unique. He met a vision, and he did not in any way move against the vision. The vision was actually developed by the current chairman of PCN when he was a registrar. And rather than him put apart this vision, he keyed into it and he worked on it. He enriched it with his own personalities, leadership profile. And so to enrich the 2011 to 2015 vision which he met, he was able to expand critical stakeholders, to engage critical stakeholders like I mentioned to you, including the council, the staff, the pharmacists, the pharmacy technician, the proprietary patent medicine vendors, in order to meet the growing needs of patients. He engaged critical stakeholders in the continuing education in order to transform them through unprecedented and well-enriched intellectual achievement, interventions, which he mentioned. He also promoted core values of transparency, accountability, self-confidence, and moral courage. So he worked on the 4 major things that he mentioned in his speech, which is repositioning of the registry for effective service delivery, where he made aggressive investment in employee development. He was concerned about a new mindset for the new business game. He had worked in the private sector extensively before now, and he knew the orderliness and the process involved in public sector. So he wanted to marry both the positive side of the private sector with the positive side of the public sector. And he did it very well. The result was almost a 4,000 increase in IGR, internally generated revenue. The sources were professionally managed, and he was able to therefore get a conference hall. He was able to build modern library, conference hall with 6 syndicate rooms in the Lagos zonal office. The Pharmacists Council of Nigeria was also able to secure breakthroughs in some legal cases. Under the repositioning, he created a social service support for staff. He actively engaged staff. He was able to get the staff to make suggestions. Having been I played very active role in PCN in the last 8 years myself as a consultant. And I recognize when we hold meetings, he will listen to everybody to first of all say something before he will share his view. One, he did not want his view to create a bias. And yet, even though he was very accommodating, it's also very firm on some issues. And so, one would not say he's a diplomatic leader, one cannot say he's an autocratic leader, one cannot say he's a democratic leader. He is actually a situational leader. And that is the kind of leadership that is required at this moment. On the second vision, which is institutionalization of good pharmacy practice in Nigeria, he was able to initiate and promoted the now 7-star pharmacist concept. Any problem? Okay. All right. And because of this, he was able to transform good pharmacy practice to one where pharmacist is seen like a communicator, a decision maker, a leader, a lifelong learner, a manager, and indeed a teacher. Practitioners today are able to avail themselves of the opportunities to strengthen their understanding and practice of pharmaceutical care through the continuing education, through the change in curriculum. I know there are many of us who are sitting here who are pharmacists, and it is common to believe that PharmD is actually about clinical pharmacy. Nigeria is the pioneer in the world, where PharmD is not just a specialist in clinical pharmacy, but good enough to be good in industrial pharmacy, in hospital pharmacy, in academic pharmacies, as well as in every area of pharmacy. And I believe that is one thing that he has done for the curriculum. He has also helped in this area through collaboration with major stakeholders to actively promote the concept of what is called prescription policy and education to minimize drug abuse. And we're going to talk around the evidence that he has presented during his tenure. He improved the visibility and image for pharmacy practice in the eyes of the public by raising awareness. On a monthly basis, he writes something like a scorecard, where he tells every critical stakeholder within the council and outside the council, the people that they are regulating, what he has achieved in the previous month, what he plans for the next month. And that is very unusual for a public servant. I think he's done well in this area. Number 3 is the transformation of career professionals into intellectual. He actually redesigned and restructured and strengthened the MCPD program. And he ensured today we are able to get the MCPD program done on IT, that is online, thanks to the concept of COVID that evolved in 2019. And prior to this time, he has started the beta version. That is, you try, and I realized the fact that it was going to be difficult for me to renew my license unless I actually do continuing education. And it was difficult for me to go for continuing education because some of them are held at periods that I may not be in the country for one reason. But now, online, you can sit in your home and do your online studies and actually do your online exam. And I think that's a major plus for him. Even though he has reached his 6th floor, but yet he was able to understand the needs of younger people like us who are YPGs. And I think that's a beautiful thing. The president has been smiling at me as a YPG. You know, the president is preparing to become ancestor. So it's just like, he has 2 more years, he will become ancestor. So, the new Partnership for Progress is a way to actually have a patent right initiative through partnership with the Consumer Protection Agency. He raised the public awareness on drug abuse nationwide, introduced guidelines for online pharmacy practice in order to strengthen patient access to medicine. It was in partnership with various organs of government, including the National Assembly, thanks to my brother, Senator Oluregbe. My mother is from the same state with him, and I schooled in Ilorin. So very effectively, we were able to get a couple of things done. We were able to transform pharmacy. He was able to transform pharmacy regulations and laws through the support of the National Assembly. He secured funding for new, modern, well-equipped building in Lagos. In collaboration with major stakeholders, Pharmacy Emblem was also relaunched by ACPN. And my chairman for ACPN is here. I think he will confirm this as well. Specific emblems are being designed for easy identification for PPMVs as well nationwide. He promoted partnership with industry, academia, NIPRD, leading to research, publications, and new product launches. In partnership with pharma industry, he was able to create a PCN platform of directory for accreditation and certification of all pharmaceutical and sales representatives. My chairman for National Association of Industrial Pharmacists here can bear witness for registration and more effective monitoring and evaluation. He was able to introduce the pharmaceutical product and marketing regulation with code of ethics of a healthy, ethical marketing of pharmaceuticals, something that the Americans were already doing dating back to the 70s. He was able to introduce that in Nigeria. Thank you, sir. The fifth goal, which he never considered as a major goal, but which is the most important goal for any leader, is the ability to have active engagement with all stakeholders. When your stakeholders are competent, but they are not committed, they won't do anything. But he was able to get not just the competence of the various stakeholders, but also their commitment. Because he had a periodic interaction section with various stakeholders, ensuring a healthy communication, and served as inputs and evaluation opportunity for all major initiatives that is coming from PCN. So PCN is a regulatory body. But because there's an engagement with people to be regulated, they were able to self-regulate themselves. They were able to key into the things that he wanted. So rather than see him as a policeman who was looking for an error, or an internal editor who wanted to catch you doing it wrong, he was educating us so that we do not even do the wrong thing. And I think that was something that was unusual about him. He was able to maintain a monthly report like a scorecard to inform every stakeholder. And in line with the value of transparency and accountability, he was able to create a link on the website for suggestions. The summary of his major milestone can be said the synergistic engagement of critical stakeholders. I put that as number one, but that to me was the most important thing. For people like me, who is a 6-footer, one of the critical things that people like us who lack physical charisma, we have to be very good in communication in order to get people to have a buy-in. So for tall people, all they need is to stand in front of you, remain quiet. But they've got to communicate. And I think he has engaged people in governance, all various kinds of governance, the National Assembly, the people in the ministry. He's been able to, he's been able to engage people in the organization. He's been able to also engage other regulatory agencies. That's why the relationship between PCN and NAFDAC and other regulatory agencies have been such almost like a perfect relationship. I think one cannot but commend the critical players in this group. He's been able to look at the council and the ministry that invest in Pharmacists Council and all the other developmental agencies that have invested in the initiatives. And he has been able to look at the customer. The customer in this case is C, are the people that he is regulating, the pharmacists, the pharmacy technicians, the patent medicine dealers. And the E are the employees. So he's been able to engage the GORIs effectively. No wonder. After the Integrate E sponsored work of organization capacity assessment program, they were able to identify some gaps. They went on aggressive competency development. It was not too difficult for them to actually pass the ISO certification of 9001 of 2015. Congratulations. And then they spent over $1 billion. They got government to spend over $1 billion to mop up codeine-based cough syrups nationwide to address drug abuse, because codeine had been extensively abused. Satellite pharmacy and other spoke oversight was put in place, establishment of enforcement department, increased engagement of stakeholders and partners, increased training and introduction of motivational packages for development of staff, improving the functionality of PCN website, digitalization of regulatory activities and processes, promotion of councils, corporate visibility in the public domain, increased public awareness and drug abuse through advocacy, implementation of strategic plan. Not only did he complete the 2014 to 2021, he also developed an extensive handover preparation of a new PCN strategy in line with, in consultation, active consultation, and led by the incoming registrar. He was able to put together a 2022 to 2026 so that the handover process becomes easier. So when the chairman of Pharmacy Council said he's a lucky man, he's really a lucky man. Only few people participate in the choice of his successor and in planning that future with that successor. That is a very unique thing. Ladies and gentlemen, the Pharmacists Council of Nigeria 5-year strategy roadmap blueprint can be summed up as 6 major goals. Number 1 goal is on education, to transform education, training, and capacity building. And they were able to put in place plan for structures, operations, engagement, and the expectations. Did the same thing to transform registration and licensing process, practice to transform pharmacy practice for sustainable healthcare delivery, to transform quality, standards, determination, to transform, goal number 5, to transform inspections, monitoring, evaluation, and enforcement, and to transform communication and stakeholder engagement. You could see from this that this is a strategic plan to actually build on the foundation that he has made. He has done one thing that makes it so unique. Every successful, I'm a student of leadership. I've studied several leaders. I've read also the unauthorized biography of Adolf Hitler. And that's just to let you know, because you also learn from people who have failed. A lot to be learned. I learned from Adolf Hitler's unauthorized biography that even though he was a tall guy like me, he was such a powerful communicator. When he finished talking to the Germans, they were crying. They believed truly in his message. This gentleman has been able to raise multiple people within the registry who will be willing to make the next vision a reality. And what he has done was to ask each of the departmental head to actually write the achievement, what they have achieved in the last 8 years. Because of his close monitoring, close supervision, close coaching, we're able to recognize that the HR was able to restructure under his leadership, restructure Pharmacists Council of Nigeria. There was a renewal of the tenure of the registrar because he did well in the first 4 years. A 44.2% increase in staff strength. A 364 senior staff and 3 junior staff members were promoted. A big round of applause for him. PCN ensured that every staff member had attended at least a training program by 2019. The PCN fleet of vacancies was vehicles was increased. PCN had lived up to its insurance policy responsibilities, where there were gaps before. The Education and Training Department also achieved significantly. They coordinated the pharmacy education program, moving from the B Pharm curriculum to Pharm D. They coordinated accreditation, reaccreditation, 23 accredited today with 7 upcoming to universities or taking induction ceremony for fresh graduates. In the last 8 years, a total of 12,252 pharmacy graduates from Nigerian and foreign universities. From 2014 to 2021, 1,641 students have undergone the Foreign Pharmacist Graduate Orientation Program. 52 accreditations and 33 reaccreditations were conducted in colleges and schools of health technology. That's not a mean feat compared to what he meant. On registration and licensing, there was a 55 or 56% cumulative improvement in statistics of licensed pharmacists from 11,143 to 17,376 pharmacists. There was 161% cumulative improvement in number of licensed pharmaceutical premises from 2,000 to 5,500. As I'm talking to you, it is estimated to be about 6,000. There was a 90% cumulative improvement in number of licensed pharmaceutical wholesale distribution premises from 860 to 1,630. Operational achievements include rewriting the pharmacist premises software and migration to an online registration platform. The procurement of machines to produce identity cards for pharmaceutical inspectors and subsequent issuance of free identity cards to all licensed pharmacists. The production of list of registered pharmacists in Nigeria from inception to December 31, 2021, with full registration from 00001 with Pharm AA Uluwale to 030244 of Pharm AA Mohammed by the end of 2021. That means there have been not less than 30,244 pharmacists registered in this country, and most of it happened during his tenure. Inspection and Monitoring Department, they were able to increase visit to premises from 3,762 to a total of 57,883. That's a huge increase within 8 years. Since its inception in 2016, location approval banners have been issued, about 2,795 for new premises. The NDDG, which is the National Drug Distribution Guideline, was also developed in 2010, was launched in 2012, and eventually the process for implementation started in 2015. The PCN convened the Registrars Forum in 2015, Regulators Forum, which included the NAFDAC, FDS, and the Federal Ministry of Health, which eventually led to the 7 states buying into the initiative at various stages of establishing coordinated OC center in order to bring sanity to drug distribution. The adoption of a quality management system ensured that professional services meet regulatory requirements to the satisfaction of various stakeholders. I think that's not a mean achievement for inspection and monitoring department. Congratulations. The enforcement department, they've done wonderfully. First, he established the enforcement department, which has greatly helped in sanitizing the practice, reducing the number of illegal unregistered premises, boosting the image of the Pharmacists Council. They showed the responsibility for surveillance to check the activities of quacks and closing down a number of premises, and in liaising with security operatives. And they have been able to change, the enforcement of PCN, they were charged with the concept of enforcement of PCN rules, regulation, and standard. With the PCN disciplinary tribunal, they were able to conduct investigative inspections, generated public enlightenment information, and were able to work with the legal unit. And when I get to legal, we're able to see how much the enforcement unit have been able to achieve in joint work with the legal. The Planning, Research, and Statistics Department, following the PCN full-page newspaper advertorial in 2017, the Minister of Health constituted the Coding, Control, and Other Related Matters Working Group. This was a group that focused on supply chain management. They look at the entire value chain. They were able to work on engagement and monitoring of dispensing outlets, public enlightenment and advocacy. And they worked with others to ensure withdrawal management, rehabilitation, and continuous surveillance. This was what led to the withdrawal of coding, and there was an investment of over $1 billion by the ministry. I think this is a very big success story in Nigeria that other African countries have borrowed. PCN has organized several advocacy workshops, campaigns, and seminars on drug abuse over the years. And the strategic plans of PCN, the stakeholder survey, the standard operating procedure, and allocation of laptops has helped in Planning, Research, and Statistics Department. Ladies and gentlemen, the Pharmacy Practice Department, they coordinated the formulation, implementation, and the review of benchmark minimum standard in all pharmaceutical practice area. They were able to coordinate education programs not just for pharmacists, but for other PPMVs, for pharmacy inspections, for accreditation. And today, total number of facilities fully accredited is 902. It has introduced online mandatory continuing education, like I mentioned earlier. It conducts accreditation of national conferences of Pharmaceutical Society of Nigeria and that of ACPN. The programs coordinating department have been able to work with the PPMVs. It has 3 sections, namely interagency collaboration, coordination, logistic and supply chain management, public health programs. I was able to therefore work on migration of data into the National Health Management Information System, the GIS mapping of all pharmaceutical premises with support of Integrate E in 17 states, which was quite handy in kickstarting this initiative, thanks to Integrate E group. Finance and accounts were not just supportive, but they were able to handle collection of revenue through the Treasury single account. And like he mentioned in his presentation, or like I did mention as well, the internally generated revenue increased significantly. They were able to prepare weekly and monthly financial reports. The PCN has maintained a steady financial growth in revenue, which is more like a compounded 17% growth from 2014 to date, which actually implies that within a period of 4 to 5 years, they were doubling their revenue. And so within the 8 years, they have more than doubled, they have multiplied several fold. The revenue of the council increased from 615 million to over 2.5 trillion, representing a 76% increase. Sorry, billion, I'm sorry. I actually thought it was in dollar. I was trying to convert to naira. The total asset has also increased significantly as at July. The internal audit department carries out regular checks of various financial activities. One thing many of us will know with developmental agencies is the fact that if you have your accounts well and your internal audits or external audits are able to do their work unchecked, because they love transparency, accountability. So it's not by accident that they have invested heavily in the Pharmacists Council of Nigerian initiatives. It has to do with the fact that the internal audit have been able to do their work well to ensure that processes are well done. The legal unit was able to have a number of disciplinary measures. So the Pharmacists Council was not only backing, they were also biting. The tribunal was able, the investigative panel, they searched 7 times with about 80 pharmacists that appeared before them. The tribunal searched 2 times, and they were able to get 5 pharmacists who were convicted by the tribunal. 4 pharmacists out of the 5 were removed from the registrar for some time, and 1 pharmacist was also sanctioned. There were also major landmarks legal activities, like we saw in the case with the PPMBs, the case with the veterinary medicine, the case with individual between the Attorney General, the Federation, and some individuals. And all these 6 major landmarks influence the pharmacy practice with significantly with the rulings in favor of the PCN and indeed pharmacy practice. Ladies and gentlemen, most recent regulations placed on Gazette to ensure that the legal framework is provided for all areas of pharmacy practice include Online Pharmacy Regulation 2021, Pharmaceutical Product Marketing Regulation 2021, Pharmaceutical Premises Location Inspection, Structure, Monitoring and Enforcement Regulation 2021, Registration and Licensing of Pharmaceutical Premises Regulation 2021, PCN Operational Fees and Guidelines for Registration 2019, the review of PPMV guidelines for the issuance of patent and proprietary medicine vendors were done. This wouldn't have been possible without the support of the National Assembly and under the chairmanship of Senator Olori Egbe. Thank you so much. A big round of applause. The Special Duties Unit, they were directly with the registrar to handle emergency meeting license with other departments, and they were able to ensure the governing council meetings and the newsletter were done quickly. Before I close today, it is nice for us to know that all that had been planned had not just been implemented, there were also evidence-based results. The Public Relations Unit, for example, was able to generate monthly newsletter. And most pharmacists sitting here will remember that every month you receive either by mail or by WhatsApp, usually the first day of the month. Irrespective of whether it's a Saturday or Sunday or public holiday, you receive it. I've never found any public servant who made this a point of duty and was making this available to all stakeholders. I think you can now understand why I made engagement of the critical stakeholders as my number 5-point agenda. So that's why I did that number 1. It is responsible for creating, facilitating, and maintaining a positive image of Pharmacy Council. And I think Pharmacy Council under this current registrar has shown very wonderful thing. The new Partnership for Progress Initiative, NP for PI, promoted pharmaceutical system strengthening as new regulatory frontier. This is the process of identifying and implementing strategy and action that achieved and coordinated sustainable improvement in the critical components of pharmaceutical system. The critical components of pharmaceutical system are its core functions, the structures. It ensures access, availability, affordability, accessibility, acceptability of quality and essential pharmaceuticals and related services to support safe and appropriate cost-effective use of medicine. So, some of the people who have played a very key role and who are witnesses today include the Society for Family Health. The Society for Family Health did mention during the course of their working that they work with Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation. They work with Pharmacists to be able to come up with various projects, including Integrity E. And this partnership was very, very effective in helping the PCN, particularly in the area of regulation, pharmacy education, training, practice in all ramification. It was able to get them to discharge their regulatory mandate to contribute to the attainment of the main objective of national health policy, which is to provide adequate access to primary, secondary, and tertiary health care services. And they were able to recognize the importance of primary health care in Nigeria in achievement of universal health coverage according to WHO. The Integrate E project, co-funded by Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation and MSD for Mothers, was able to improve the quality of family planning through those processes. What you see here is the evidence of a picture, the signing of Memorandum of Understanding and inauguration of Project Steering Committee between the Pharmacists Council, representative, the current registrar, and the then managing director of SFH, Sir Bright Ekuremodu. This is the evidence led by Pharmacists under the Integrity Project, the strengthening of PCN capacity to effectively regulate community pharmacies and the BPMVs, and the need to start to delegate a number of functions to PMVs so that pharmacists can focus on quality pharmaceutical care. I think these development agencies, I think they deserve a big round of applause, because without them, it would have been impossible for the registrar to be able to show all this beautiful scorecard. So this is an acknowledgement of these people. They were also able to help in terms of various operations to facilitate the immediate deployment of ePCN across all the council offices in 36 states, with the approval of the donors, procure some IT equipment, including Android tablets, printers, desktop computers. And the chairman of the council, Professor Ahmed Tijani Mura, on behalf of all the members, appreciate the support of the project in strengthening PCN and improving the capacity to adequately supervise the activity of the CPs and the other stakeholders. This is the evidence of the conduct of organizational capacity assessment, which was done by one Professor Larry Bailey and his team, and support to PCN to address identified gap at the Lagos, and then eventually training followed in the Lagos Business School. This is the evidence of directors' executive course on quality service delivery at Lagos Business School. This is the evidence of the presentation of the copy of GSS mapping report, which was led by Pharmacist Olalere, who represented the registrar. This is the training of community pharmacists on family planning and PHC services, as they have been supported by the SFH and the Pharmacists and Bill and Melinda Gates. These are pictures of the Director for Programs, Coordinating Department, presenting certificate to successful PPMVs. The picture below is during the training. Okay, fine. Let me quickly, even the thing's not working. The enemies are, okay, fine. So let me quickly just show you. These are the awards, various awards from various institutions. Award from N.A.E, Nigerian Institute of Management, award from employees of the board, award from ACPN, award from young pharmacists, old pharmacists, like the ancestors. And way back, ahead of his book, which was referred to as Transformative Leader, he was already been celebrated as celebrating a transformation leader about 2 years ahead of that time. Ladies and gentlemen, this gentleman has been able to demonstrate. The book also has some area for media reports, newspaper printouts of media reports, and picture gallery. Finally, today, as we celebrate the launch of my scorecard by the registrar, for me, it's a celebration of an agile, transformational, and resilient leadership. One who is a 6-star general, who has demonstrated capacity, character, a good coach, a commitment, great commitment, competence, and consistency. The lesson we learn from the book can be summed up in this sentence. When you focus on the most important focus of any organization, you yourself become the focus. I think today the registrar has become the focus. I would like to say thank you.
Please, another round of applause. Thank you so much. Thank you very much. I want to quickly recognize the presence of the President, Association of Nigerian Health Journalists, Mr. Hassan Zagi. You're welcome, sir. Thank you very much. Also, the Registrar CEO, Environmental Health Officers Registration Council of Nigeria, Dr. Yakubu Mohammed Baba. You're welcome, sir. Also, the Registrar CEO, Optometrists and Dispensing Opticians Registration Board of Nigeria, Professor Mrs. Ebele Bridget. You're welcome, ma. Please, can we put our hands together? You're welcome, ma. I also want to recognize the presence of Chairman PSN Board of Trustees or Fellows, Chief Dr. J.E.B. Adagazu, FPSN. Please put your hands together. You're welcome, sir. Please join me. Welcome to the podium a man that has taken time, despite the primaries of the APC, despite the political permutations going on right now, to honor our registrar and be here. Please put your hands together for the chairman, Senate Committee on Health, as he gives his remark and address the registrar.
Good afternoon, distinguished ladies and gentlemen. In line with Nigerian Palace, I would say I align with existing protocol, but let me, if I'm allowed to say, copy from the chairman of PCN, my brother, Professor Mora, that I have to recognize very many familiar faces that I've not seen for a while, some of which he did recognize. Aja Jiwa is one of them. I think we've worked together a lot. I knew her since Zaria, and then when she was in MPI and so on and so forth. So since 2003 and thereabout. And I saw somebody who has not been recognized, who was my classmate 43 years ago in Zaria, Pharmacist Moshood Oluku. I think I saw him coming in. He was a former director of pharmaceutical services in the Federal Ministry of Health. With my brother, we are from the same locality, but also we were classmates and roommates 43 years ago in Zaria. Though he ran away from Zaria for fear of probably not getting pharmacy. Because we were classmates in SBS, and as you know, in those days in SBS in Zaria, you spend the first quarter when you are waiting for your WASC result. So immediately WASC came, he got admission to N.A.E. So he left us to do SBS. So he went to straight to start 100 level. So I have Pharmacist Adeoye, who were in Kano together about 20-something years ago. So, and Pharmacist Munir, of course, who is a brother, and if we were in Kano, and in addition to being from the same place. There are several of them that I've seen here. I'm starting like that because the chairman said I'm pharmacist friendly, but I see the health profession as one. Secondly, my current role is not that I'm not a medical doctor practicing and seeing patients. My current role as chairman health committee is to be able to oversee the whole health sector and to be able to see how health is delivered to Nigerians. And as such, I'm not only pharmacist friendly, I'm optometrist friendly, I'm environmental friendly, I'm nursing friendly, and so on. But more importantly, I'm here today because of several things that I've said about Dr. Mohammed. And when I received the invitation, I was in the lorry when I received it, preparing for the primary. I said I must attend, despite that I'm aware that there will be primaries today, and I'm a member of one of the sub-committees. But I'm attending because, as it is, I mean, if all that has been said about him are true, I need to be here to be able to bear witness. The last speaker talked about evidence, and I'll provide some evidence to this. My attendance is one of such because ordinarily I should be busy with the primary thing now, but as you know, politicians, we are witches. So the main the main thing is during the night over the morning. So all what you are seeing may not be the thing yet. So until much late during the night. So until tomorrow, most of you will wake up tomorrow morning to know what it is actually. But on a very serious mood, I think I got to know the registrar in 2019 specifically. And one of the things, I had worked as CEO of organization before, and my work was advocacy. And I always say sometimes one of the key lessons, the first lessons that I learned from, which I knew before, is that your message is not as important as the messenger. So for him to get to me, he has to come through one of my colleagues who is well known to him, who is now the current deputy governor of Zamfara State, who is a member of the health committee. He was the one that introduced, actually he can walk in as a registrar and introduce himself, but he came in through Senator Mohammed. So to be able to say this is the kind of person he is. And that's an important thing in terms of just to bear what the last speaker said. If you want to engage stakeholders, you need to have a strategy. And one of the strategies I mentioned today when I met the CEO of Pharmacists, that when you have, no matter how powerful your message is, if it's not carried by a good messenger, you don't get the desired effect. That's a very good quality of a leader and a manager. Now, the other thing which I've seen, in addition to many, is his humility and his effectiveness. Very, very, I mean, despite his intellect, his capacity, and so on, he's a very humane person. His humility is one of the best. I deal with about 13 registrars, and I can identify that. The only person that is second to him will be the registrar of a nursing council, Dr. Farouk. It's also a me, because that is very the way I see it. And the other one I see is his ability to be able to deliver results. And the last one I want to say is very, very significant, which is good for this organization, is his ability to be able to ensure good success. For the years I've worked with him, he and his incoming registrar, I've seen a lot of ways that over the last 3 years, he has been trying to see how we build and the capacity of Pharmacist Baba Shehu. A lot of things that he wants to do, he will say, refer to Shehu, which I see that is already building and strengthening the capacity of this organization. And I wish him well. So, now, of course, in terms of key achievement we'll be able to achieve together, one of the things which I saw, we were there in Lagos in October, as the chairman has said, and I can see that, you see, it's very difficult in public service, particularly in Nigerian budget system. If you start a program that will last you 3-4 years, if you are not an effective manager or leader, the thing will stop. We inherited, before we came in, projects that is undertaking. And except he's able to engage well with us, that project will not finish, because it is possible for us to say we are not allocating resources again, and there's nothing he can do. And he cannot finish it because without appropriation, that means the project will not go. That's why we have abandoned project. And I want to particularly recognize him and give him kudos for being able to find, complete project that transform one administration to another. This is very important for those of us that knows what goes on in public service. In Nigerian budget system, if something is started, it doesn't mean that we get, and any other person can come and say these things will not continue. So we have to learn that, and I'm sure Baba Shehu is doing that. But more importantly, what I've seen is achieved is that, and Baba Shehu and himself will give credit to this, because of the accountability and effectiveness, I have been able to, over the last 3 years, increase the allocation of budget, particularly even my own personal projects are now located in Pharmacy Council in the last few years. So this is, I'm buttressing this to be able to show the accountability and transparency and effectiveness in terms of delivering project. They did that in 2020. I just gave them very few, but this year now it is more than, I think it's multiple, like 3 times 3 or 4 the amount of resources that was put in 2021 compared to what we have in 2022. And I can assure you in 2023 we are going to do that. So this that I've said is my testimony of the outgoing registrar. And I think the organization is lucky because the incoming registrar, I wish him very successful tenure also. With what he has learned, with the way they have worked together, it will be good. So I want to say that, Dr. Mohammed, congratulations for what you have done. This is the first time in 3 years that I'll be attending a scorecard like this among regulatory bodies. And I think we have had 3 new registrars. We've had a change in community health, we have a change in health records, and 1 other registrar account. So for other registrars that are here, we have to see to this because we need to strengthen all the regulatory bodies. For us to deliver good health to Nigerians, the regulatory human resource is the most important aspect of any health sector. And the various regulatory bodies regulate the training and practice of those human resources. So what he has been able to do in Pharmacy Council is what I want other regulators, other CEOs of regulatory bodies to emulate and try and surpass for good of Nigerians. So I congratulate you and wish you well. So I'm not doing that on behalf of myself alone. I know that we have 2 of my colleagues who are a member of these professions and a member of the committee, Senator Matthew Rugide and Senator Pharmacist Sede Kumar. So on their behalf also, I congratulate you and wish you much more success in life. Thank you. God bless.
Thank you so much, sir. We appreciate you. Also, to deliver a goodwill message is no other than our partners in crime, our very own sister agency that turned from marriage of convenience and became a marriage of enjoyment. Join me welcome the DG of NAFDAC, Professor Mojisola. Please put your hands together for the DG of NAFDAC. Welcome.
Oh, wow. I would like to recognize again the chair of the Senate Committee on Health, Dr. Oloriegbe, and all the people on the high table, and distinguished guests, and PCN strong staff. I want to... It has been a quite, what will I call it, remarkable 4.5 years, or almost 4.5 years when I met my brother officially, Dr. Mohammed. I don't think it was up to a week when I joined NAFDAC that he came to my office. Before I joined NAFDAC, there was a gap assessment that USP did, and they said that one of the problems of NAFDAC is not relating with sister agencies, or sister agencies not relating together with each other. So for Dr. Mohammed to visit me within the first week of my resumption, I took that very, very seriously. I wrote down that it's a bridge builder, and I mean it. It's a bridge builder, and it has been demonstrated while serving as the registrar with some of the issues that could have become so unbearable for the professional bodies. Dr. Mohammed has this even keel to make everybody to just calm down. It's a gift that I believe is a gift that he has. So in terms of sister agency collaboration, we started this 4.5 years ago. And of course, I started the quality management system in my own agency, NAFDAC, maybe 6 weeks into my resumption, and global benchmarking. And you know, we didn't, both agencies, PCN and NAFDAC, we didn't know what we were into until global benchmarking started. And the quality of Dr. Mohammed just came to fall in a way because we thought we could work in silos. WHO told us, no, you are the 2 regulatory bodies that control the quality of medicines in the supply chain. You've got to work together. So it became easier for me because of this quality attribute that my brother has. In terms of strengthening the regulatory agencies, we had a lot of things that we have to do together. And this is what has worked for both agencies, because this mentality of working in silos became erased between the two agencies, because it was not about PCN and NAFDAC, it is about Nigeria. And we learned a lot of lessons in that process. I'm just very lucky to have him as the registrar of PCN when I resumed, and I'm looking forward to the future with Baba Shehu. Baba Shehu is my favorite. He's my favorite because he has a knack to relate to people easily. So I could count myself double lucky. And then with Professor Mohammed, Professor Mora, who is in our council, is a member of NAFDAC council. If he's around, I have the confidence that everything is going to be fine. So you can just count me triple lucky in a way, because of the registrar, the incoming registrar, and Professor Mora, who is on our board. One thing that I want to underscore in terms of the quality of Dr. Mohammed is the understanding of what it means to have a good or strong regulatory agency, and to understand the mandate of each agency, the two agencies. So instead of fighting and arguing with each other, we say, oh yeah, one is practice, one is quality. So everybody knows what they're supposed to do. I want to just thank him very much. We have done a lot together. Aside from getting maturity level 3, only 30% of regulatory agency in the world have maturity level 3. Only 30%. So what we have done is extremely remarkable. Without that, Nigeria will not be able to manufacture vaccines. So we are talking of manufacturing of vaccine now. It is because of our working together. We've been working together also in terms of joint enforcement. NAFDAC has the mandate, the C34 mandate, to carry out enforcement in order to stem substandard falsified medicines or no-sum food. And just because of his nature, this has become much easier for us to do. One thing that is not right with many MDAs is that we don't work with each other. We do not collaborate. So the success that you have seen in NAFDAC and PCN, it is because of collaboration. I want to just thank him very much for what he has done, what he has contributed to Nigeria. And I'm not, usually when somebody is retiring, you say, okay, what is the plan, what is the game plan? I do not have any problem at all, because of the quality attribute that he has, that is going to be much more successful even post-retirement. Thank you so much. God bless.
Thank you so much, ma'am. Thank you very much. Also, we want to welcome the goodwill message of the President of the Pharmaceutical Society of Nigeria, Professor Siri O. Usifo. Please put your hands together for the President of PSN.
Before the coming of the President of the Pharmaceutical Society of Nigeria, I think it's only proper that we release the Chairman, Senate Committee on Health, Dr. Ibrahim Odoregbe, distinguished senator for that matter, and who has sat all through. Now, distinguished senator has expressed himself not only as a friend, as a brother, but also a team player. So what you have seen here, sir, is a collectivity of the services rendered by our registrar, which is not ashamed to showcase to the whole world. And I have the singular opportunity and privilege of handing over a copy of this to you so that you can keep it in your office. Anytime you look at it, you remember Dr. Elijah Mohammed, you remember Pharmacists Council of Nigeria, and you should remember this particular occasion. Thank you very much. Okay. Okay, let him just unveil it and then he can be. Please, can you come up here, please? Okay, I thought you just said I should give it to him. I thought the minister was there. Okay, that's
if they can move to the front.
Okay, it's the unveiling of the scorecard. We're going to, please, everybody, can I get your attention? We'll just count to 3. After 3, they will unveil the scorecard. Can we go? 1, 2, 3. Put your hands together.
You need to know how to manage human resources, financial capital, all the resources that are available at your disposition. He has that ability. He gave maximum support to any staff that had a good proposal that would move PCN forward.
Perhaps one striking feature which distinguished the tenure of Dr. Mohammed
Thank you very much. I want to assure you that in 10 minutes we'll be out of this place. We'll We welcome the goodwill message. Okay, Professor Musifo, sir.
Yeah. Very good afternoon, my distinguished fellows and colleagues, ladies and gentlemen. I can assure you that if I talk more than 120 seconds, he will stop me. I've asked him to do so. Two things I want to bring to bear. One, the outgoing registrar and the incoming registrar are real PSN pharmacists. And I just want us to applaud them. In fact, it's not by accident he midwifed the election that brought me as president of PSN. And we've been working closely together. I would therefore plead with the PSN staff, PCN staff to work very closely with the incoming registrar, and also the incoming registrar not to forget that if he needs pieces of advice, he should revert back to the outgoing registrar. For one thing, the outgoing registrar, nobody has mentioned it here, is a double prophet. He's Elijah Mohammed. God bless us.
Thank you very much. Hello, we're rounding up, please. If you can just give attention for the next 5 minutes, we'll be out of this place. I thank you for your patience. I want to welcome, before the vote of thanks, before the vote of thanks and we're out of this place, I want to welcome Dr. Nicole from Pharmacists for her goodwill message. Please put your hands together, and after which we'll have the vote of thanks. Thank you.
Good afternoon, everyone. First of all, I hope you can all hear me. First of all, I'm still a student in Nigerian protocol, so I hope you will allow me to just say all protocols observed, because I don't think I can touch that one. So I really want to thank everyone for inviting me to this amazing celebration. Recognizing that it's almost, we are here between you and hopefully a great dinner with family and friends. But it's been such a wonderful occasion to be together with a consortium of partners that are so dedicated and motivated to change something that is the most difficult to change, and that is pharmacy. We often forget that the majority of people, when they go seek healthcare services, they go to a pharmacy around the corner or a PPMV or something that is close to their home and close to their family. And yet often when I'm in a room like this, we talk about tertiary hospitals and ICUs and operating theaters. That is not always touching the lives of the people that we meet it most. It's been amazing to see the partnerships in this room together, really pull together and get united, but recognizing that something like this can only be achieved through true leadership. And many of the speakers before me have done amazing words. I'm just new to the party here, but it's been amazing to get the experience and see the clear results of the leadership of the register. You must truly be proud of being able to work with such a wonderful person and being able to achieve what you have achieved. As Pharm says, we've been extremely happy to be part of this consortium that was, of course, sponsored by Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation and Merck for Mothers, that has helped us achieve a lot of the things that we're seeing here today, but really recognizing the great partnership with Society for Family Health, with whom we've worked for many years together, and of course the Pharmacy Council of Nigeria really leading and co-creating the whole process, which is such key to really owning this and making it truly implementable in the future. We've seen the great results, and In the interest of time, I don't want to repeat everything that has been said, but one thing that really struck my eye, that really sets this initiative apart from a lot of other initiatives that I've seen, is this great uptake of digitalization. And the fact that this platform has now been created where all of this information, the GIS mapping of the facilities, the registration of the pharmacies and all the connected facilities is now being done online, and there is this amazing value of information that is there, that is real time, that all of the policymakers and the implementers can use to regulate and improve this market even further. So I really want to congratulate you for not only taking leadership of that, but also embracing the opportunities that digitalization takes into place. So let me end there, recognizing it's the end of the day. I just want to mention one quote that I always like, that is standing on the shoulders of giants, I can see further. I think we've seen so many giants here in this room, and I think for all of us who are now entrusted with taking this leadership forward, we can see further, but we have to make sure that together we make even more impact, building on the amazing work that has been done under the leadership of his register. Thank you very much and have a great evening.
Thank you so much, ma'am. We're grateful. I quickly want to recognize the presence of Pharmacist Maria Ochibo, Deputy Chief of Party, PQM Plus. Please put your hands together for her. You're welcome. And also to welcome every other person that we may have omitted to mention. Please, we recognize you, we appreciate you, and we thank you for coming. Ladies and gentlemen, we want to welcome the man who the cap fits, like I said earlier, who has been handed over the baton, or in few hours' time will be handed over the baton of taking the Pharmacists Council of Nigeria to the next level. To give us the vote of thanks is no other than our incoming registrar, Pharmacist Babashe Mohammed. Can you put your hands together for him, please? Thank you, sir.
Good evening, distinguished, very distinguished ladies and gentlemen. I will want to deviate a little from taking the protocol on the ground that the vote of thanks itself aligns perfectly with the protocol. And on that note, let me pick the first on the list for appreciation, and that is God Almighty, who in his infinite mercies gave us the choice in the person of Dr. N.A.E. Mohammed to lead PCN at this particular time. We appreciate God for granting him the guidance and the wisdom, and for leading faithfully, transparently, with accountability. For these and many others that we may not be able to mention here, we give all glory to God. We thank him, I cannot thank him enough. For today, let me, on behalf of the Pharmacists Council of Nigeria, express our profound gratitude to the leadership of the National Assembly, ably represented, because wherever their own is, it is taken as representing the leadership, because whatever they speak for the leadership. The Chairman Senate Committee on Health, for having the faith in us as PCN to have started the journey of the good relationship we had, and for also assuring us that that will transcend beyond this time. He has always been with us. Each time we have a function, he identifies with us, not only on his own capacity, but on behalf of the Senate Committee on Health. We also appreciate his counterpart in the House of Representatives, who, on my way here, we spoke and confirmed that he was at the airport, needed to be in Birnin Kebbi for political exigencies. We know this is their time. We pray that God will be with them. We appreciate our chairman, PCN Governing Council, the man who understands the game very well, having been our registrar and now chairman, for providing the required environment for us to thrive and thrive very well today to meet the expectation of our stakeholders. Sir, we thank you for the leadership. The DG NAFDAC, personally I call her Mommy. We appreciate you, ma'am, for the partnership and for providing that environment that we believe exists now and which we also have confidence will continue to exist between PCN and NAFDAC, wherein we see ourselves as partners in progress. Let me appreciate the PSN president. Sir, I have always learned something from you, and that is your short, very short but direct messages. Even here, you exhibited that. You are a man of action. We pray that God will be with you in your tenure. Though you have short words, we know you have very loaded program for the profession, and God will grant you the strength and the wisdom to carry it through. The Managing Director of Society for Family Health, the piloters of the Integrity E project, the consortium lead, we appreciate SFH. They have really shown to us that contrary to the previous thinking within regulatory cycles, that when you have partners wanting to relate with you, it is about them trying to push forward that which they are being funded to achieve. But in this case, it is not. We can vouch as PCN for Integrate E being led by SFH as partners who only have a cardinal objective of ensuring that Nigeria, which of course is our own, achieves universal health coverage. We appreciate SFH and their partners like the Pharm Access, MSD for Mothers, and even the Bill and Melinda Gates that funds this project. Our very sincere appreciation should please reach the founder all the way in the US, that we are grateful. Professor Larry Bale must be appreciated, not only for this program, Like he said, he has been a consultant to the PCN. I'm not sure we have paid him anything in the past 8 years as a consultant. But he has volunteered himself. Although he is not here, we need to state it here so that others will appreciate what relationship building is all about and what you can take out of it as benefit. We have our chairman board of fellows here, our own Dr. J.E.B. Adagazo, a one-time director of Food and Drug Services Department of the Federal Ministry of Health. I just observed that he has been sitting very quietly, unassuming, even though he's a very critical stakeholder in the political arena of this country. So well seated, you're highly appreciated. We have here chairman of technical arms of the PSN. It gives us a lot of encouragement when we see ourselves as family. It shows that whatever we are doing in the PCN is for the pharmacy profession. And we cannot thank you enough for identifying with the PCN at all times. We have elders of the profession here. We have our past president of the Pharmaceutical Society of Nigeria, Pharmacist Sir Anthony Ahime, N.A.E. Thank you, sir, for being here. We have our elders here. Permit me to recognize Alhaji ARM Momodu. These are the foundation, people that laid the foundation of pharmacy practice here in Abuja. Ajia Wasilat Giwa, our own coordinator, board of fellows in Abuja and Nasarawa State. Pharmacist Inusa Bello, I recall how he bailed me out during the PSN conference in Port Harcourt to strengthen the organization. We have the directors from the PCN and zonal officers. May I request that they please stand up for recognition. They came from all over across the country. Please, can we have our zonal officers upstanding and directors? And permit me, thank you very much for the support you are giving the registrar all through these years. Permit me to also recognize, especially our own pharmacist, Mrs. Aria. Madam, can people see you? And pharmacist Y.O. Yunusa. He just left as director of special duties. These are the people that have made it possible for the registrar to succeed. We have a lot of partners in the house. We have PMG man here, the executive secretary, Pharmacist Frank. Thank you so much. On behalf of the registrar, the management and staff of the Pharmacists Council of Nigeria, I want to appreciate everyone here for gracing this occasion, for being supportive of the registrar throughout his tenure, and for your goodwill towards the PCN all this while. We'll continue to count on you, and we also pray that God in his infinite mercies will continue to bless you and bless your own beloved families. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, sir. Ladies and gentlemen, we've come to the end of this very wonderful scorecard event. Lunch is served. Please, we'll please proceed to the Oriental, the Oriental restaurant with your ticket, please. for lunch. Please permit me to say that the high table and the reserved table should please go first. Just allow them go first to the Oriental restaurant, and then every other person would come along. Thank you very much. We appreciate you, and we thank you for coming. God bless you.